និយាយភ្លើអញ្ចឹង
Oh, this is a big opportunity to finally a core could be there as they glimpse Miracle back. Static Storm awaits. Stun coming through. Pummeling with auto tech, but he's a little bit too tanky. They don't seem to have the firepower. They chase him with the Laguna. They will finish him off. Crucial for LFY as Super now gets pulled back in, but he hits the Ravage. Light strike the Ravage. Three traps within. Liquid are evaporated again. LFY clutch fight after clutch fight, and now perhaps the roach pit awaits.
Yeah, that is a team fight and a half coming out from Super's Lena and Arfu gone on the Earth Spirit once again. Gets everyone in the magnetized, gets the AoE silence and stun. What a play coming out from LFY. This is where this team has excelled and caught so many people by surprise moves from it. A lot of people talk about their draft, and their team fight execution, coordination is insane, and that's exactly what they showcase right there.
They love to fight. This team really loves to rumble.
So many people by surprise moves.
They're not.
A lot of people talk about their draft, and their team fight execution, coordination is insane, and that's exactly what they showcase right there.
They love to fight. This team really loves to rumble. They're not.
Responsive with this slider blink isn't really the ideal way to use it, but now Liquid, they're the ones making the plays, using their probably knowing that LFY have also pretty much used through, I want to say, every single smoke in the last 5 minutes that they've had. So
well, now is that time. Slaughter Blink you mentioned, Radiance you mentioned, and they are on the hunt, and they'd love to start things off by finding Afu, who has been so disruptive in these team fights. Super, not really the ideal target unless they can cleanly assassinate him, as yes, he does have that.
He's got 17 blood, so charges all of a sudden, all just from one big team fight. That is very problematic.
And he's feeling every one of those charges. Just runs up the hell line. But now they've got the vision here on Liquid. They do have some wards over towards that northern side of the map. Able to keep tabs on them. In fact, they might work for an opening. And he back into the river.
You see the Halberd almost complete from Monads. You talk about the other items. These are the items that make a lot more sense for the Bristle this game. The Halberd, the Solar Crest. Perhaps a Lotus Orb could be kind of nice, but I want to say, like, the armor items are good, the evasion is even better. The disarm on the Sven, if you can get him before a BKB. Same for the low druids. Even just popping it on the bear could be really nice, so.
It's kind of a tough game for Liquid because they don't really have the easiest time. Like, you can't really rush an MKB on Miracle or even the lone druid. You know, you're going to need some armor items first for the bear. So the window where this evasion is extremely strong.
So the evasion is even better. The disarm on the Sven, if you can get him before a BKB. Same for the low druids. Even just popping it on the bear could be really nice, so.
It's kind of a tough game for Liquid because they don't really have the easiest time. Like, you can't really rush an MKB on Miracle or even the lone druid, you know, you're going to need some armor items first for the
of
bear. So the window where this evasion is extremely strong.
So the evasion is even better. The disarm on the Sven if you can get him before BKB. Same for the low druids.
That's probably the
really
most
nice,
difficult hero to bring down, especially with the war cry.
Bat is ready. He's in the perfect position. No Radiant Ward has scouted him just yet, although it is being pinged, and the bear, the bear pokes its nose up, finds the bat, and they now know that the bat also has a force to go with the blink. This is the danger item. He's the ideal target for Slider to initiate on.
Miracle, think a quick little stun here. They're gonna try and deal with that Spirit Bear. They gang up on him instead, and now rolling in. Apu looks to assist. He's there with the Magnetize. He gets the silence up as well again. It's Apu to the rescue. Liquid though, trying to turn the tide. They've got the wall down, and Sven is getting the hit, but he can't deal with Monet. Mind Control's got him back, trapping Matu on the high ground. The Spirit Bear is what he really cares about, though. That is just chilling on the low ground for now. Very low, but not dead yet. Miracle needs help. He needs some support. He's not getting it either. Finally, the bear wakes up and runs in and feeds the Radiant Courier's Eyes too, joining
That's his TP.
a painful party. And with that down on the cliff, he'll sit and he'll think about it. He summons his comrade to keep him company, but that bear is currently feeling rather useless.
Yeah, really nice play by the Bat and the Disruptor. Matu was just not anticipating the Observer Ward being planted. It wasn't on the cliff, it was to the west, and he got caught by a glimpse, pulled back in to start that fight off, and that completely ruined his day. He got pulled back in.
And with that down on the cliff, he'll sit and he'll think about it. He summons his comrade to keep him company, but that bear is currently feeling rather useless.
Yeah, really nice play by the Bat and the Disruptor. Matu was just not anticipating. Unexpected thing to have happen at this early stage in the game, but he is playing explosively.
Yeah, Super not the most explosive laner, and certainly was under a lot of pressure this game, but where LFY have consistently excelled is just stable mid-game decision-making and team fighting, and that again is the story of the game against Liquid here on the big stage.
Unexpected thing to have happen at this early stage in the game, but he is playing explosively.
He completely took them out of the fight. Miracle got some good cleave damage off, but the problem is, like, they cannot deal with Monet gods unless they can completely kite him. They really need the bear to be rooting him, and that bear was just sitting, not being microed while Matumba was trying to send himself a courier. Ended up with a TP, ended up dying. Spirit Bear then runs in and feeds. It was just a very chaotic fight for Liquid, and LFY seemed to catch them quite off guard.
Yeah. Matu trying to be the selfless player and save Kuro at the end with his bear there, but I don't think it was worth it to really...
It's a
Crystal Maiden,
It's a Crystal Maiden.
Yeah.
He ain't worth much.
Well, things go from good to bad to even worse for Liquid. They had such a strong laning stage, pulled out with a very sizable lead from their farming efficiency, but now find themselves struggling to match up to LFY when it comes to the team fight. And
they don't have like the best pure bristle, you know, counter by any means. Like, they have corrosive haze, but they don't really have a solution for evasion. They don't have that silver edge carrier.
Absolutely, that's
right now a big weakness for their lineup, but they're going to try to make this work anyway. They smoke up, they wrap around, but look at the positioning of LFY. They've got the high ground from every direction. Still, though, Liquid do get the jump. Crucially, Afu gets pulled back in, and Miracle looks to hunt him down, isolating that pesky Earth Spirit. He rolls. He won't get very far, though. Thrown up in the air, and now going to drop back down into the waiting arms of the Sven. He'll commit the Magnetize. Monet could be next. This is the kind of art that Liquid hate. They want to burn it, but can they really chase down the bristle? Already buying back was the Bat Rider. He doesn't have a great teleport location. He TP'd to the tier 2 top. He won't find more, so a good fight there for Liquid. They kill off the Bat, they kill off the Earth Spirit, they force the buyback, but they don't get a core, at least not the most important one.
Yeah, good insta stun from GH. If he doesn't blink stun there right away, Bat gets a lasso off on the Sven, so not hesitating to go for an initiation. He was fairly blind as well. They didn't have any vision of that shrine. They have a ward to the east near Roshan, but that only gives a sliver of vision on that heal. So I want to say he may have just been playing guesswork when he went for that blink stun, but that saves Miracle's life and secures the team fight.
They're going in again. This Matumba Man train might catch Paydirt on the other side, but meanwhile, Miracle's gone in. It was kind of a split initiation by Liquid. So far paying off. Super gets caught out, and now in trouble. They collapse onto that Lina in the tree. She gets trapped by a savage roar and gets brutally wrecked too. Liquid find another. Not quite an instant respawn, but damn close. Up in 4 seconds. LGD Forever Young. Getting a little sloppy here, gods. They just keep on getting caught by these Liquid maneuvers.
Yep. They're getting caught split up. That's the big thing is here. They're strongest when they're initiating, when there is 5, and we're seeing Liquid find openings to get picks and to ignore the Bristleback. Anytime they can ignore this Bristleback.
Monet says, screw it, man. I'm going in. However, Miracle is pretty damn strong if he's able to hit, but he gets lassoed. He gets pulled back in. There's the back. Where's the follow-up stun? They need the cleave in action, and Miracle brings it in, slicing his way through LFY, forcing the lean on her heel. She just died once, now out for 30. Bat on the deck as well, and Monet getting pounded, surrounded, completely confuzzled, and in the end, he would not. Liquid make it 4. It's their turn to make the clutch plays. It's their turn to have the numbers, and it's LFY's turn to lose some towers.
Having the 3 dead, no buyback. This could just be a lane of racks. Matu, with the attack speed boost from the Rabbit, can push very fast on the lone Druid.
It's been a back and forth game. LFY just, I mean, a team of the Bat Rider gods has, you know, back in the day when Bat had better vision, it's like there's no way you get that jump. Now with his reduced vision, you are a lot more reliant on either other heroes or wards, and they just didn't seem to have them in those last 2 skirmishes. Cost them in a huge way. LFY, though, are looking for an opportunity here in Flame. Oh, give away the triple stun, and with that, Liquid retreat secured.
Looks like they wanted to bear. They knew Matu didn't have a resummon if they killed it, but Lasso was on cooldown for about 2 more seconds when Bat made his move. Super's chasing, but the rest of the team seem to have different ideas. LFY need to remain on the same page. Fight together, retreat together. They cannot afford to be fragmented in their approach to this game. We need everyone completing for the same objective, and that is to teamfight Liquid. Very hard to fight this Vacuum Slider Crush combo if you group up for a big vacuum, though, and we'll be seeing that Darkseer approach that level 20, get that extra AoE, I imagine, on key vacuum spell, but it's a little bit of a ways to go.
I'm wondering if we see some BKBs here at any point for LFY. So far, Bristleback not opting to go for one, Lina not opting to go for one. Even Bat Rider is going back for Yule Scepter when you know, there isn't that much magic damage, but that combo is just so devastating that you have to wonder, do at some point they want that combo breaker? Just not seeing it for now.
In their minds, they also want to have the armor, the defensive item, like Lina going for the Shiva's Guard. It's going to be a very useful item to have, but is going to mean that she has to be very careful with her positioning not to get caught in that vacuum. Perhaps we could have seen Bat Rider again. I think Bat Rider with a BKB could be a very effective initiator, having a guaranteed lasso into a 4-star fullback. But for now, things will settle down. I imagine both teams kind of have to just consider their next movements in a very cautious fashion. Liquid didn't manage to take the tier 3 tower top. It has 2 hit points, but that means the shrines cannot be taken out systematically by Liquid at this point. Although I imagine LFY may even look to defend them, given the option to.
All about that next Roche now, as LFY lurk in the neighborhood. Liquid not looking to give this up easily. They'll show Monet mid. Monet has been a tough kill, but Liquid are going to try for it. God Strength committed. They barely clip him with the crush. They hit him from behind. They want to get in front. Chewing through him with the crits. Miracle does some good work. Corrosive Haze combines. He needs more armor. He needs more armor. He doesn't have it. yet. Monet survives. The static storm is dropped. He hangs on, but he will eventually fall. Miracle is the trade. Sven Big Daddy down 2, and now DDC. What else can he find? GH is very isolated, deep behind enemy line. Looks for the retreat, but DDC says, come over here. Pulls GH right back in. Bristle back turning into Bristle Boss now as though he fell. He bought the time needed for LFY to turn the fight.
Yeah, they just didn't quite have the damage to bring it out fast enough. Sven just saying 40% back damage reduction. I can DPS through that, and Miracle was very close to doing so. And they did ultimately achieve it, but...
There was a moment there where they just kind of stopped hitting him and started going for other targets.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a bit too greedy by Liquid. They end up getting punished as LFY. Move into the pit now. And they look for the Roche. No Slardar buyback, no Sven buyback.
Without the Bristle, they didn't do this all that fast, though. This could get punished, LD.
The Bristle will come back shortly before the Sven. So LFY should at least have their full 5 around the same time Liquid do, but they don't do it fast enough for a clean take. Meanwhile, Liquid, they do the Roche ultra quickly. You cannot step out of the pit for long. And LFY, they waste no time. They smoke. They move towards the pit. Inflame out in front. Flapping across the trees momentarily. You got to imagine LFY are looking for the jump. They don't have great vision, but they know Liquid roughly their coordinates.
They get the ward down.
Camping near the shrine.
They
have the vision
everyone.
now. They can jump. It's only a Crystal Maiden, but still, it's a 4v5 power play after he drops, and now they found more. The follow-up catch was mind control. Back wall, but where's the combo? It's a decent 2-hero stun by GH, but the Sven's not hitting. He's not doing anything during this combination. Now Miracle arrives, hits the 3-hero godstone of his life, but not able to kill anyone off super. Bloodstone denies Seppuku for him, and Monet now forced to retreat. Miracle on the warpath, charging in, flanking forward onto DDC, kills him off 2, a 2 for 2. The bear cycloned as Afu tries to get out of dodge, doing what he can, roared back towards safety, actually now rolling out, but the back interrupts, and Liquid slam the door, 3 down. Miracle doesn't need vacuum gods, he doesn't need setup, he gets it done on his own.
Yeah, the bat was just waiting around for Sven to initiate to go for a lasso on him, but Sven wasn't even at the fight. Miracle showing up towards the end of the fight pays dividends for Liquid.
Is Monet going for this? He wants to run in. Right. Not the sneakiest Roche steal of your life. He'll be savage roared away.
That's not gonna work.
See you later, buddy. There's no place for porcupines in this Roche pit.
Will they chase him down now?
He's proved to be mortal in the last chase, but Sven did have his god strength currently on cooldown. Chivas is there. They're trying to deal with the Spirit Bear. They yules it, but it just walks away. And from, what was it, 20 Bloodstone charges, Super continues to plummet, now down to 8.
That is not what you want to see after such a good start. That's when you know things are swinging heavily back in your opposing team's favor, and Liquid have small little lead now, 6,000 gold at 35 minutes, but more importantly, strategically, with an Aegis, with the crit now coming on the Sven, they are looking incredibly strong and have shown their... Darkseer Mind Control has been the big player for them, and as far as LFY go, they're going to look to see what they can do. And Ags on Disruptor could be a problem item to deal with. If you catch someone like Sven with a lasso, you drop a Ag Static Storm on him, there isn't really a good counterplay for that. Darkseer can't easily counter-initiate because of that Static Storm, and the Sven cannot BKB it off.
It's crazy, guys, because you mentioned Liquid's team fight prowess, and this wasn't even like their best potential fight. They got a 2-hero crush, a back wall with no follow-up. Miracle came in extremely late, but then he hits the 3-hero Stormbolt, and he just runs them down anyway, and they don't seem to have someone who can stick on this Sven and make them back away.
It was so weird because like it's so very often you say, oh, Sven not being there was good for Liquid, but it really was the case because if he's there, that ward, if that sees the Sven, they jump him. They throw the Static Storm on him. He's the majority of the damage output. They bring him down, but he shows up after Static Storm, after Lasso, and none of the big ultis were there. When Sven initiates, they've got nothing to deal with him.
Miracle going for the Wombo combo items now. He completes the full data list. No MKB for him. Not really worried about that. Halberd, I just feels like he can kill everyone else, and then Bristleback is easily dealt with.
Go cleave through other people and hopefully hit the Bristle if you can, but yeah, the Halberd's going to be annoying if he gets disarmed before the BKB, but he's going to want to just, have the vacuum into his stun or the vacuum into a Slardar stun and just cleave through absolutely everything. And that's where the Daedalus is going to maximize his damage output. Bristle just not feeling as tanky and scary as he should. The Lotus will help a little against the amp damage, but it's not really feeling like a carry Bristle. More like that team-oriented utility one, and Bristle just not dishing enough damage in these team fights.
With the way they've itemized, the way the game's developed, Gods, does LFY just fall off from here? Do they have a plan B of slowing it down, trying to go late? I mean, Miracle doesn't want to let them get there anyway. He jumps in, finds DDC, 3 shots, and Disruptor down. And critting through the wave, they chase for more, they back in, flame back in. He instantly dies! Oh my! Okay, that was a 9K crit if I've seen one.
It may have done that much damage, it was being full HP. Miracle's just going to hit the top racks. Neither hero has buyback. No Static Storm to worry about. No Lasso. When Bat's dead, it's so safe to push high ground.
You want a tango too? Afu looks to turn the tide though. He does get off the boulder smash. Comboing nicely, but doesn't want to engage with that Aegis to worry about. Miracle imbued with an extra life will take the Rex down. Closing in. Monet to no avail. Chips. He prods, but he hardly tickles at this point. Miracle ignores him. He hits structures. He focuses on objectives, and then Liquid walk away, apparently scot-free.
Yeah, we're seeing the effectiveness of the Sven as a bristleback counter, not just being able to burst through them and hit buildings and all that, but also defensively, helping yourself and your team. Those quills just don't stack up and do a lot of damage when you've got Warcry on you. And Miracle is a force to be reckoned with. Top of the net worth chart. Very effective play coming out from his Sven.
You just 2 or 3 times just ran at LFY, often even without vision of hills, won every fight. It felt like LFY was in control then, Gods, but they weren't able to get the initiations off. They didn't seem to have quite good enough vision. Liquid were just a little more confident in their maneuvers, and now the game is falling apart.
Yep. Well, Bristle may get jumped at top if he's not careful.
Well, Monet hoping that Liquid will go for him. He marches in. He does see Curl, throws out the goo, but the surge allows him to disengage. 1 lane of racks down. Items still piling in for Liquid. And if you're the captain of LFY now, what's the game plan? Aegis is going to wear out pretty soon here. What do you look to do?
Keep the Bat and Disruptor back. These heroes cannot get caught. These are the 2 most important heroes to win a team fight as far as positioning goes. Bristleback, obviously he's important, does damage, has lots of items. Same for Lina, but their positioning is less important than these big playmaking heroes like Batrider. His Lasso on the Sven's BKB. Disruptor's Ag Static Storm. These are your key spells from the team fight, and they're the targets Liquid's always gunning for. That's why Sven jumps in mid lane with the God Strength just to kill Disruptor. He knows that once Disruptor's gone, that's one of the most important tools that LFY have to win a team fight taken away. So keep these heroes hidden, keep them in the back lines, and don't let Liquid get good initiation.
My finest creation, it's Miracle with a double damage rune, a moon charts as well. Monet getting ripped to shreds, now back in. A very timely Yule's the Static Storm's there, forcing Miracle back on his heels, but still, he's tanky. GA comes in.
4-man crush.
Great crush, no follow-up. They disengaged, they got the CM, they timed out the double damage rune, and now they pull Matumba back in. But do you really want to go on the bear? I don't think that's the hero you focus. They even walk through the wall and into trouble. Miracle re-engages, but it's straight onto Inflame. A bit too tanky for now. He survives GH. Laguna thrown out. It stays alive. The Yule Scepter dodges the Laguna. Liquid, are you kidding me? They stay through it all. They walk away with the Lina, and now they look for more. Miracle does not have Aegis, so Monet would love to get this kill. Quill's getting spammed, but able to blink away. He retreats.
Ooh.
That was a sick play right there. And painful for LFY too.
We are seeing the Sven with his shorter BKB duration, not able to secure kills as easily. When his second his BKB wears off there, Halberd gets thrown out. And when Liquid reinitiate that second fight that broke out, Halberd instantly on the Sven's blink. And this item is doing wonders as far as dealing with the Sven goes, but you've got to be able to survive his BKB to get it off, and that was exactly what Bristle barely managed to do. The Static Storm wasn't great coming out from DDC. It kind of caused this bit of a dead zone which Liquid couldn't pass, but it didn't actually secure any big kills. You really want to be the ones initiating, trying to drop that on a Darkseer or a Sven, a Slardar even. You need to find a kill off of the Static Storm. You can't just use it to save your teammates, and the end result is Liquid, while they don't convincingly win the fight, also don't suffer any big losses and are able to maintain big advantage and a big lead in this game.
Again, we're 43 minutes in. No real item progression here on the Batrider. You got the Yule Scepter. He still can't jump into Liquid. Like, unless they have a clear line of initiation, he jumps in, he's getting Storm Bolted, crushed. The heroes that he wants to go on are very tanky. He doesn't have the BKB, he doesn't have a way to disengage. He's actually building towards an Aghanim Scepter now, which is kind of an unusual bat item. We saw it a bit when the Ags was first introduced, but generally teams with Batrider are able to start the fight gods. It's been just Sven running in and blink BKB stun and just start hitting you with God's Strength.
The nice thing is the Ags plays very well against the Wombo combo because Darkseer Slatter are always going to be blinking next to each other when they initiate. Same for the Darkseer Sven. Darkseer blink vacuum in, Sven blink stun. If Batrider positions well, he should be able to counterplay that by lassoing not one but two heroes. So I do like the item pickup.
He does have to counterplay.
Yes, he can't be the one getting. If he gets caught by Liquid's initiation, teamfight over.
And I don't even think he can go into them unless he's got like a massive numerical advantage, because he's just going to get stunned and then he's dead.
Diffusal pickup for Bristleback. Interesting. Not something you'd normally expect to see.
Purge off the war cry and the battle cry, I believe you can also purge.
From the Lone Druid?
Yeah,
yes,
so that's a lot of bonus armor.
Yeah, definitely good spells to take. The war cry is 20 armor. That's an absurd amount of armor to be able to remove instantly.
The problem is there's a lot of targets to have to purge. That's the worry here. It's a late diffusal. We'll see how it pays off for Monet. Out pretty far mid. Liquid marching in. They grabbed the Aegis, and Miracle, he knows one direction at this point, it seems, and that way is forward, onwards, and hopefully upwards. They are beating this bear down, though, rather rapidly. Gets hit by the Boulder Smash. LFY would love to kill
Miracle
off.
wants to jump the back lines. That's why he's ignoring
Does he have the
vision
up the hill?
He's going to see DDC in a second.
He's blind for now, but he's got an opportunity up top. Inflame could be his target. There's a dire sentry here. Miracle on the boundary. It's almost like he knows.
Yeah, tiny little bit of jitter there. It was, I believe, a smidgen of lag.
Oh, that sentry, if it's just like an inch farther out, they jump Miracle, they pull him in, and it could have been a rare opportunity where the team wasn't there to counterplay.
Well, Miracle may not get his chance to jump the Batrider. That's the key thing here. Jump the all the Disruptor. I want to say Bat's the better target. As long as you BKB first, you're not too worried about the Ag Static Storm. So if you're initiating the Bat, you take him out. Yeah, there's a Static Storm, but you've already got off your key Blink BKB. Darkseer, as long as he's not getting caught, can help you out with a Pipe, a Greaves. So I think Bat is the ideal target for Miracle. And the key thing is he can solo kill him. He doesn't need friends to help him out, and he's got an Aegis. So even if there isn't counterplay, he goes down once. Liquid can then charge in forward, vacuum, Slaughter Crush, bail Miracle out.
All hangs in the balance here for LFY in game one.
He's going in.
Pick. Miracle, though. Did poke his head into sentry range. They know. Probably hoping that he shows himself again, but he's going to back up to greener pastures, a safer climb, and LFY do D-ward here immediately. It looks like Liquid tried to pull a fast one on them. Curl going for a sneaky uphill ward, but that is dealt with early.
Well, this bottom lane needs to be addressed. It's been a pretty creep wave, so it looks like the bear is going to be sent down there. While Lick just wait, regroup, continue to keep all these lanes pushed out. Wait for a pick to present itself. They've got double cheese, by the way. They've managed to save the second and the third cheese, or the first two cheeses, but from the second and third Roshan, and two cheeses and an Aegis. As we'll see how things develop.
And an MKB soon for Miracle as well. Just to round out the inventory. A little more. Tumba taunting Apfu.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, as far as heroes to play when things are a bit jittery or shaky, Air Spirit definitely not high on that list.
By the way, Inflame is like really, trying cobbling together different ideas here. Now it's the Ethereal Blade he wants. So it says screw the eggs. What other items can win my team the game? But it's just like, to me, it shows how hard the game is for LFY now. Like he's just not sure what to get.
Yep. I mean, for him, it's going to be a game of positioning and play. Items can boost up. I don't think the Ethereal Blade's actually that's going to help a whole lot. If you're saving a teammate with an Ethereal Blade, you may as well save them with a Blink Lasso on that BKB Sven. So I'm not convinced this is an item that's going to be good for him. I'd much rather see the Axe or a BKB that we talked about much earlier on in the game. But yes, this game is going to be very tricky for LFY. They are on high ground defense from here on out, while this Aegis and double cheese is in play. And
their high ground defense is decent, but I wouldn't call it amazing here, especially late game when the tower hitters are either ultra tanky, like the Lone Druid is going to sit back, the Spirit Bearer you can afford to sacrifice, and in any case he's got a cheese, and Sven's got a BKB and an Aegis, so the Glimpse, which was once super effective, you can't count on that now. Maybe a Static Storm ambush with DDC having the Ags, but
yeah,
and it's
they invest a lot in this Ags for disruption. I feel like we've not seen any real value out of it.
They don't have great setup for it, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, unless Afu pulls out the penalty kick of his life.
Well, and the result is, yeah, 4K invest for a support, invest in items like this. He could have had a 4-staff earlier, an extra 4-staff to save your Bristle when he's getting chased down on those numerous occasions, or to save a different teammate, the Lina, for example. There's a lot of other items that could have been effective this game as a support, but you invest 4K, you hope that this item wins you a team fight, and we have just not seen that for LFY yet.
If there's a place to win a team fight, it would probably be this high ground. But Liquid aren't cooperating.
Oh, another DD, LD.
The DD Hay special potentially coming to a theater near you if Miracle checks out bottom.
Yeah. He may just start chipping on the tower here with this, knowing he's got the Aegis.
I mean, I don't know if I would call it chipping when Sven's hitting for 550 an attack without God Strength.
Chunking at, maybe.
Yeah.
Just carving.
Ravaging.
Carving big pieces of stone out of those towers and tearing them apart.
He waits. He waits.
There's a dire ward that on the high ground that will spot a lot.
Do we have a gem on Liquid at this point? Yeah, there is one on GH.
That's a much needed D ward. Take out all those annoying pesky wards, just trying to give LFY whatever defensive vision they can have to protect themselves from that Sven play. And Liquid smoking in up top.
We'll never see this coming, LFY. Or so Liquid hope.
They crushed an Iron Shell creep wave, but hey, you know.
They creeps do your bidding.
They also just planted an Obs by a Sentry, so that's
and Bristle marches in. Monet, he won that ward.
They're going to stay up here, possibly in the trees. GH.
The thing is, it's a lot less obvious that Liquid are doing this when all the lanes are pushed than if, you know, say LFY went for the smoke play, but the smoke is going to be wearing off relatively soon. So Liquid wanting a clean opportunity. They don't want to take too many risks here. They do respect that Static Storm, that Glimpse potential counterplay, and they will play it safe. But hey, creeps march in. They start to do some damage to LFY morale, killing off their beloved effigies. Now Liquid gonna creep in again, slowly but surely. The ward wars rage on. At 48 minutes though, slow and steady going by Liquid.
And for LFY, let's wait out this Aegis. That's the overall game plan here. You know there's about a minute left on that. You need to find yourselves in a position where if Sven wants to push, you can jump in with a lasso and kill him. With an Aegis, not really all too possible.
Liquid creep in. Miracle's here, so Arcane Rune. With that lower cooldown God Strength if he wants to activate it.
Yeah, I feel like you may just want to throw it and hit some buildings. They're going to lasso the bear. This could actually enable Miracle.
Yeah, he says, great, you blast with the bear. Now they're going to back the Static Storm drop. It hit basically nothing. Like a Spirit Bear, that's not what I need. A super is deleted by Miracle. Oddly level of farm on this Sven. Afu finally getting forward. They lock onto the Sven. Age wearing off relatively soon. Chasing forward. Can they get the kill? Miracle caught within. Now the magnetize effect. Monet closes in on public enemy #1. They want to slay the beast. They do finally bring him down. No, not quite. Instead, Bristleback will fall and Miracle hangs on, turns around, just keeps on wailing. Just too tank.
Liquid secured. They had a great early game, but we saw that LFI teamfight coordination turn things around. They managed to put together some great team fights with the Lina Bloodstone getting up to 20 charges. Afu's Earth Spirit was doing Afu things, but ultimately once Liquid hit their items, once they got the Blink Daggers up, that's when things started looking a whole lot better. They managed to actually take the initiative themselves. They smoked up, they started the fights, and when they were the ones setting the tempo, it was looking all Liquid.
Liquid looking very calm, composed here. They took some risks that game with the smoke ganks, often with no vision. Pill didn't have a vision hero really, but all of them worked out.